Hello. Good morning, MegaPodlings. Crazy Joe here, Monday night. I'm still getting set up. I don't know who all's there, but just give me a minute. I am prepping myself. Here we go. Apologize for the delay, but there was a last-minute emergency. My wife had to run out of the house very last minute to pick something up that was needed. Mike Crawford, Geriatric Geek, Jeff Hill. Hi, guys, and everyone else who's here. Those are the names I see. Welcome. It's Monday. It is. What is it, 2 weeks before Christmas? Something like that. And here we are. Jesse, welcome. Hey, question, guys. How long ago did Cinema Sickness stop? Because I know normally I try to go, right after him, but I was not able to do that tonight. I had to get a 3-year-old to bed. So, it's only 10 minutes. Not too bad. Not too bad. I tried to get this going as quickly as I could. Interesting. Very interesting. Give me a second. I'm looking at this on YouTube and I don't know. Oh, well, I guess it's framed well enough. So how is everyone tonight? I'm getting a text from my wife that I can't answer because I'm live. How is everyone tonight? How many thumbs up can we get tonight? No thumbs, Mike. No thumbs, because that is the trademark of Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel and their families, their heirs, and I don't want to be sued. So there will be no thumbs. Jesse asks how my mouth is doing. I had a tooth pulled a couple weeks ago. Doing good, Jesse. Doing good. And Geriatric asks if we're getting a cold blast. It's been pretty cold. It has been pretty cold. So, you want to see the sweater? Aha! There we go. There we go. It's I usually, when I do these live streams, I try to advertise my friends, wear one of my friends who also are on YouTube, try to wear one of their shirts. But you know what? It's Christmas and I was last minute. For me to go to the closet and pull out a shirt would have taken me just that much longer to get down here. So we just went with the speed today. Movie John is in the house. Welcome. Welcome, Movie John. Good to see you. My good man. So let me just tell you guys right off the bat. If I don't know, you may have seen the video. I posted a video already, but I saw Bumblebee, the Transformers spinoff Bumblebee. They had an early access screening, one night only, and it was this past Saturday. Then it'll open wide on December 21st, but for one night only, they had this early access screening. So I saw Bumblebee. There's a video on it. You can find my video on it. But I want to get the word of mouth out on this movie. It is fantastic. I mean, it is really, really, really good. I highly recommend Bumblebee. I want to see it again. And I haven't liked any of the Transformers movies. Well, to be fair, I only saw 2 of them. I saw the first 2, and then I had no desire to see 3, 4, and 5. But this is the first one I've gone back to since Michael Bay wasn't attached. I'm like, let me give it another chance because Michael Bay is not involved in this one. It's Travis Knight who did Kubo and the Two Strings. Man, Travis Knight knocked it out of the park. It is everything. If you're an old school Transformers movie, Bumblebee is everything you have wanted to see in a Transformers movie. It's just, I guess you can't please everybody fully, but it's great. It's really good. And if you're not a Transformers fan, I think you're still going to like it because it's just so charming. It's got a very E.T. quality about it. So I'm really, really anxious to get the word out on Bumblebee. CS was pissed I didn't take him to see it. It wasn't free. I had to pay. He doesn't usually want to go to the movies. He very rarely goes to the movies. I went to... I heard about that early access screening, and I was originally going to just go alone, but then my friend Dave Perillo, he's a big Transformers fan, and we don't do much together anymore these days because we live like 45 minutes apart. We both got kids. We don't. It's rare we go to the movies together, but I know he's a Transformers fan, so finally I called him up and I'm like, "Hey, do you want to go see this thing?" I would have happily invited CS, but he doesn't usually like going to the movies. I didn't know he was upset. Don't know if you're watching CS, but I apologize. You just, you don't usually go to the movies. I think the only things we've ever seen are Star Wars movies, and you did go see the Happy Time Murders. So, but I'm sorry, I didn't know you were interested. I apologize. I'll ask you next time. I will. I didn't know. Stephen, I am doing great. Joey, was he really upset? I had no idea. I didn't see the whole live stream because I was trying to get a 3-year-old to bed. But Jeff Hill just got done watching the new Short Trek. Did you get to watch it, Jeff? Man, I've been meaning to do a video on that. I did watch it. I did watch The Brightest Star. Now I got to tell you, I'm a huge Star Trek Discovery fan. I love Star Trek Discovery. I think it's the best show on TV now. Currently, it's the best show on TV. And it's just great Star Trek. I mean, they've only done 15 episodes, so when you compare something that only has 15 episodes to something that has like 170, it's hard to make a comparison because, Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek. Deep Space Nine may always be my favorite Star Trek. But I see just raw potential in Discovery. It's like I'm not ready to call it like my favorite because there's not enough episodes. You can't do that yet. But the raw potential's there. But now these short treks, and for those of you who don't know, CBS All Access created Short Treks. They're 15-minute episodes of Star Trek Discovery, and they're releasing one per month to keep people interested before Season 2 premieres. Season 2's premiering next month in January, and I can't wait. So this is the third Short Trek, and it's called The Brightest Star. It's an origin story for the Doug Jones character, Saru. And like I said, it's the third one. They haven't been that good. The Short Treks, quite frankly, great show, but they're not, the Short Treks have not been very good. The first one with Tilly, the character of Tilly, Sylvia Tilly was the main character in the first one, which is called The Runaway. Awful. Just awful. The Runaway was garbage. Then we had a second one called Calypso, which was better. It had charm. I liked it. It had charm. Wasn't terrific, though. Nothing spectacular. This one, man, best of the bunch. Really good. They did a really good job this time. It's the first one I would actually recommend and say check out this Short Trek. If you like Discovery, check out the Short Trek, The Brightest Star. First two, you could probably skip those. Calypso, the second one, had a lot of charm, but it also had a lot of similarities to things we've seen already, like not on Star Trek, but things like the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix, where he falls in love with a artificial intelligence. There's a lot of that in there. Let me get back to these questions. You probably have gotten a bunch in there since. Mike Crawford asked if I picked up the Steelbook of Season 1 of Discovery. Yes. Yes, I did. Absolutely. I doubt the CS was mad. He didn't seem like he was mad. Just in a good, he was in a good mood. I'll have to text him. If you're watching, I know CS watches sometimes and doesn't say anything. If you're watching, tell me, were you mad? I didn't know. I honestly didn't know you were interested. Seriously, because usually you don't go to a lot of movies. Gavin asked why the Klingons have bumps on their heads when it's a prequel to the original series. Well, Gavin, that was actually explained in a 2-part episode of Enterprise. They did a 2-part episode of Enterprise where they explained the differences in the Klingons. And it's as good an explanation as you could have come up with, I guess. Personally, I would prefer had they not explained it at all, because I mean, the honest answer is it was a makeup change. It was just a makeup change. And I always felt like if they tried to explain it, the explanation would probably be cheesy. It would be like trying to fit a square peg into a circular hole. It just was like, I didn't think you could explain that well. I didn't think there was any way to convincingly explain why the Klingons changed. They did as good a job as one could hope in that 2-part episode of Enterprise. So it has been explained. It was a genetic modification. The Klingons were stealing, you know, Khan from the Wrath of Khan, his race of Supermen, or the Augments. The Klingons found out about them and were using their DNA because they didn't like the idea that there was a group of humans that were stronger than a Klingon. So they decided to take that augment DNA from like Khan's Supermen and augment the Klingons. But since the augments were human, it had the adverse reaction of making the Klingons look more human. So that was the explanation as to the difference. All right. We're going on a Star Trek tangent here, apparently. I was trying to catch up, sorry. Joey Baseball left some comments on my Bumblebee video. Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry, Joey. I've been really bad at getting back, responding to comments the last couple days just because of the way things have been going. Today I had the kids all day. The kids' school was closed today. I don't know why. I don't know why school was closed so close to Christmas. Why not just wait until Christmas and then make their Christmas vacation one day longer? I don't know. For some odd reason, 2 weeks before Christmas vacation, they closed the school down, which meant I had to be home with the kids all day. Didn't have a lot of free time. Took my 3-year-old to her first movie, though, which was, I didn't know how that was going to go. I'm like, oh my God, she's never going to sit still. But I took the 3-year-old to see The Grinch, and she actually sat through it. And then yesterday, I was working crazy hours to make up for the fact that I had to take off today. So I apologize. I will get back to those comments. You got my word on it. I just took me longer than I anticipated. Hey, Joe, I watched Die Hard during the Christmas season, but I seem to be one of the only few that has Die Hard 2 on my Christmas rotation. Jesse, I watch Die Hard 2 sometimes as well. I don't watch it as much. I don't think it's as good a movie. That's why. It's good. I enjoy it, but it's why every now and then I'll be like, this Christmas let's change it up and watch Die Hard 2 instead of Die Hard 1. But yeah, it's a great movie, and it is still a Christmas movie. I apologize if I missed anything. I'm trying to catch up here. You know when the Joan Jett movie is supposed to come out? I didn't know there was a Joan Jett movie. That's news to me. I did not know. CS called me a jerk. Worf and the DS9. Yeah, Mike Crawford. Yes, on Deep Space Nine, they did the episode where they went back in time to the original series, and we had Worf in the episode, who's a new style Klingon, alongside the old style Klingons. And up till now, there had been no explanation given. So Worf just, they asked Worf why they looked different, and Worf's answer was, "We don't discuss it with outsiders." I thought that was the perfect answer. I thought that was perfect. I said, leave it. Just, that's perfect. That's perfect. Just leave it at that. But they didn't. But like I said, what they did was fine. Hey, Marty, welcome. We're glad you're here. Have I seen the animated series? The Star Trek animated series, Gavin? I like it. I'm a big fan. It was done by most of the same writers who did the original series. So I'm a fan. Oh, yes, Joey, I did read your comment on how I lost my pop socket. I didn't actually lose my pop socket. I have it right here in my pocket. But it's lost its stickiness. So I kind of need to wash it and do whatever you do to make them sticky again. But it's right here. So I didn't actually lose it, but it fell off of my phone. And it's not at all sticky right now. Favorite Thanksgiving movie that's not Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? Got to be honest, I can't think of many Thanksgiving movies. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is obviously the classic. But there was that animated turkey movie, Freebird. Wasn't exactly a great movie. It was all right. It was cute enough, I guess. But I can't think of many Thanksgiving movies. Has anyone got a good Thanksgiving movie? Write it down below. I'm curious to hear. Marty McFly, that would be Dutch with Ed O'Neill. Dutch was a Thanksgiving movie? I never saw Dutch, got to be honest with you. But here's interesting trivia about Dutch. The movie Dutch starred Ed O'Neill and Ethan Embry from Can't Hardly Wait. At the time, he was going by the name Ethan Randall. He changed his professional name somewhere down the line. I think it had something to do with he took his grandfather's name. I don't know. But he used to be Ethan Randall. Then he became Ethan Embry. But Dutch starred Ed O'Neill and Ethan Embry. And what's interesting is years later, the two of them would star together again, but as police officers and partners on the reboot of Dragnet on ABC. ABC rebooted Dragnet in the mid-2000s, and it starred Ed O'Neill as Joe Friday and Ethan Embry as his sidekick. I always thought that was funny that the kid from Dutch got teamed up with him again, but now they were partner cops. Like, that just strikes me as odd. Joey Baseball asks, wanted to know how you knocked down the Spider-Man standee. Joey, I don't know how I knocked down the Spider-Man standee. It was one of those ones where it was like three-dimensional, and they have a platform for you to step onto. So you're actually supposed to step on to the standee. So, like, I guess, so your legs, the logo, the Spider-Man logo is in front of your legs. So I stepped onto the cardboard. And as I finished shooting the picture and I stepped off of the cardboard, when my foot hit the tile, I had one foot on the tile, one foot still on the cardboard. As I lifted the other foot, I felt the cardboard shift a little. I was like, did that cardboard shift? And then I turned around and whole thing came down. So yeah, they fixed it though. Because I told them, I went up to get my popcorn. I said, just so you know, that standee down like on the second level, it's toppled over. For those of you who don't know our area, this was Delaware. I saw that movie in Delaware, around the Concord Mall in Delaware. For those of you who don't know the area, that is where the Grotto's Pizza is located, that Cinema Sickness often frequents. I know he's eating there with Chris. He ate there with me. He's probably eating there with Rick. Is he eating there with Rick? I don't know, but you'll every now and then you'll see him go into Grotto's Pizza. That was right by that movie theater. It's not exactly close to me. But yeah, and afterwards we were getting a bite to eat. We actually thought about going to Grotto's Pizza, but we opted for the Charcoal Pit instead, which is great, the Charcoal Pit. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, Mike Crawford says, that's not really a movie, though. That's a TV special. It's a classic. It is a classic. All right, Gavin says, I'm going to defend the widescreen editions of Battlestar Galactica. It's a new and more cinematic way of watching the episodes. You know, Gavin, if it was originally shot that way, I'd agree with you, but the problem is they're cutting the image. They're cutting the image to fit, so you're actually missing part of the picture for them to crop it that way. So, you know, to each their own, you know, but I prefer to watch it in the original aspect ratio myself. Garfield Thanksgiving, Mike Crawford says, I've never seen Garfield Thanksgiving. I love Garfield Christmas and Garfield Halloween, but I didn't even know he had a Thanksgiving special. I will have to look that up. Jesse Swarbrick says, Dutch was also directed by the guy who did Crocodile Dundee. I didn't know that. Good trivia. Oh, it's Ryan Kinnar, right? Ryan Kinnar. Your name, Ryan, it looks like Rhino Kinnar. Okay. He asked favorite Don Bluth film. It's a good question. It's a good question. I don't know if I have a favorite Don Bluth film. I mean, American Tail was good. I never really rewatched it though. After I saw it like in the 80s when it first came out. Never really rewatched it. Never really cared for The Land Before Time. I might go with Titan AE. Not a great movie, but I enjoyed that, so I might go with Titan AE. Have I seen Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man? That I have not seen. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. I'll have to check it out. Hang on a second. I need a drink here. My wife was actually considering joining us for the live stream today, but you know, it's been a long day. It's been a long day, so she opted not to. Can't blame her. We got a fridge issue. We got it's been a day. Thanksgiving movies, Freebirds and Spider-Man. There is a Thanksgiving scene in Spider-Man, isn't there? I forgot about that. Stephen F. asks, have I seen Salvage 1 and Salvage 2? I have not. I'm not familiar with those. I'm sorry. I don't know those movies. Joey Baseball doesn't mind stretch widescreen. Okay. Let me stretch it myself. Don't decide for me. Exactly. Marty McFly says, favorite Cartoon Network show? Easy. Teen Titans Go. Love Teen Titans Go. That show is hilarious. That show really makes me laugh. It's one of the few shows that my daughter likes that I could watch with her, and it actually makes me laugh. And that show is not written for children. That humor is, I mean, they're doing My Cousin Vinny jokes and Golden Girls jokes. I'm like, the kids don't get this stuff. This is way over the kids' heads. Mike Crawford says, TBS used to show the 79 Spider-Man series. I remember that. Spider-Man and the Chinese Web. And yeah, I remember that. The Land Before Time was good until they made too many sequels. Yeah, I think they're still making sequels to that. It's ridiculous. Joey Baseball says, Rick got mad at me for asking why he hates VHS, but goes crazy for Vegas. I can't answer for Rick. I don't know. I mean, I got a weakness for those VHS DVDs or Blu-rays too. I think they're kind of cool. They hit the nostalgia button, you know. Have I seen the Chevy Chase Dan Aykroyd movie, Spies Like Us? Oh, absolutely. Doctor. Spies Like Us is a classic. You know what? There was Chevy Chase played a villain on the TV show Chuck. If you haven't watched Chuck, man, watch Chuck. What a great show. But Chevy Chase was a recurring villain on one season of Chuck. Then a couple years later, I'm watching, and Chuck was making his girlfriend watch Spies Like Us. And I was disappointed they didn't make a joke about, I don't remember Chevy Chase's character's name on Chuck, but I thought they should have made a joke with, I didn't know so-and-so was in this movie. I thought that would have been funny. And they didn't do that. They had a joke. Ryan asked about Goosebumps TV show and movie. I don't know Goosebumps. I was a little too old for Goosebumps when it came out. You know, I was probably in late high school when Goosebumps became like a big thing. So I was aware of it, but I never actually saw it. The movies came out. My daughter might have been interested in those, but the timing was wrong. She was kind of at an age where she was afraid of everything when the first Goosebumps came out, so she didn't see the first Goosebumps. So now the second one came out, she had no interest because she never saw the first one. So Goosebumps I've kind of completely missed. That's it's like Power Rangers. That was just outside my demographic. Hi there, ask where Jules is. Jules the cat. He is right in front of me on the couch. The couch is right past the camera. And he's sitting there licking himself. All right, where was I? They had a joke about Robin's parents' death on Teen Titans Go. Oh man, that show is, it can be dark. If anyone saw Teen Titans Go to the movies, they have a hilarious sequence where they go back and stop every superhero's origin story from happening. They want to be the only superheroes. So they interfere with everyone's, they go back in time, interfere with everyone's origin story. And then they realize this does not work out the way they wanted it to, and they have to go back and reinitiate the origins. But with Batman, it is just dark, man. It is so dark what they do to Batman's parents. It's a really funny show. Didn't Chevy Chase have a short-lived talk show on Fox? Yes, he did. The Chevy Chase Show. The Chevy Chase Theater. They actually named the theater for him. It was called the Chevy Chase Theater that he broadcast out of. It is now owned by Nickelodeon. And if you... it's called Nickelodeon on Sunset now. If you're ever in California and you're driving on Sunset and you pass Nickelodeon on Sunset, that is where the world's worst talk show was once shot. The Chevy Chase Show. That show was brutal. And Gavin says Alf did too. Technically, Alf did have a talk show. It was called Alf's Hit Talk Show, and it was on TV Land. And he actually had Ed McMahon as his co-host. Ed McMahon co-hosted Alf's Hit Talk Show. That only ran for like 7 episodes. Salvage One is the... Andy Griffith, Salvage One. I've heard of that, Steven. I've never seen it, but I know of it. I hear it was pretty funny. That was... I don't know when that aired. It aired in the 70s, I believe. So it either aired before I was born or it aired when I was so little I would have missed it. But I've definitely heard of it. Ryan asked for my thoughts on the Twilight Zone movie. Did I like it? You know, Ryan, the Twilight Zone movie is weird. I did like it when I first saw it. I really enjoyed it. But I first saw it before I watched the original episodes of the Twilight Zone. And I really like the original Twilight Zone so much that it makes it very hard for me to revisit the Twilight Zone movie, because now, having seen the original episodes, I always kind of wonder what the point was of remaking them, because I don't think any of them were improved in the remaking. Especially not It's a Good Life. The one with the boy who, whatever he imagines. It was Billy Mooney in the original, Send You to the Cornfield. So much better on the original. Oh, and Nightmare at 20,000 Feet with John Lithgow in the movie. It was fine with John Lithgow, but man, nothing beats Shatner. Nothing beats Shatner. I have somewhere, I'd have to dig for it. I have somewhere around here a bobblehead doll of the Gremlin from Nightmare on 20,000 Feet, the TV series version. So yeah, I'm on the fence with Twilight Zone the movie. I definitely enjoyed it when I first saw it, but now I don't think I even own it on any format, because I've never had really a desire to revisit it. I guess the question is, what did you think of Twilight Zone the movie? Let us know. Is it worth revisiting? I probably haven't seen it since the 80s. Let me know. If it's worth revisiting, I'll check it out again. What the heck? I'm drying my mouth out with all this talking. On a podcast, I have someone else with me. It's a little easier on a podcast because I can talk and then I stop talking and they talk. And in this format, it's just talk, talk, talk. Maybe I should... Joey Baseball, you just really made me laugh. What am I planning on? Going hunting with the crew. Steven, they asked me to go yesterday. I haven't watched the video yet. I don't know if it's up yet. But they were actually hunting in my neighborhood just yesterday. But, as I said, school closed today. I had to be at work, working a full shift so that I could be home today. So I couldn't go. One of these days I will get out there with them again. Time is not my own. I have so little time. It's a little distressing, quite frankly. Joey says, I feel the Alf talk show is canon, and therefore the Alf sitcom is fake, and Alf bugs are real. Well, I'm a little disappointed because Paul Fusco was trying to get the Alf reboot going, and it was at Warner Brothers. They were developing a reboot of Alf, but it wasn't going to be like a reboot. It wasn't going to be like he lands on Earth for the first time. It was going to be actually picking up the continuity from the original series and Project Alf, and it's just, hey, Alf landed on Earth in 1986. This is what he's doing now. It was going to be that kind of show. Apparently they couldn't find a platform for it, and the show's dead now, which I don't understand. How can you not find a platform for Alf? I mean, the nostalgia factor on that is so through the roof. Netflix didn't want it. Hulu didn't want it. Really? What about CBS All Access? They need original shows. They didn't want it. Come on. Someone had to have wanted that. That's crazy. I can't believe that. You want to see something really scary? Nice. Nice. Trying to... There's a little side conversation going here in the chat, so I'm having trouble following it. So I'm trying to find something I could actually answer. Movie Hunter says, hey, everyone. Welcome, Movie Hunter. Jesse Swarbuck, definitely check it out. It's a Joe Dante movie. I love Joe Dante, Jesse. You know that. And Joe Dante is one of my favorites. Steven says, Joe, they're going to do a fourth Batman from the... Are they going to do a fourth Batman from the Dark Knight trilogy? I'd really like to see one. You know, Steven, it's interesting you should bring that up because I had an idea. You know, the word keeps coming out that Ben Affleck doesn't want to be Batman anymore. And I was thinking it would be interesting if they somehow convinced Christian Bale to come back. within the DC cinematic universe established in Man of Steel and still going now with Aquaman opening next week. But there's some problems there. Like the Joker that we see in The Dark Knight and the Joker that we saw in Suicide Squad are very, very different characters. So I was thinking, how could you bring Christian Bale in and explain away the differences? And then it occurred to me, there was an episode of the animated series called Legends of the Dark Knight where these kids were giving their stories of what they think Batman's like. And I was like, well, what if you made a fourth movie with Christian Bale and called it Legends of the Dark Knight? Because you've already got The Dark Knight Rises, then this would be Legends of the Dark Knight. And you could reveal in it that there's all these legends about Batman out there on the streets and nobody knows what is real. And that would allow you to take aspects of the Christopher Nolan 3 movies and sprinkle them in to the DC cinematic universe, including bringing Christian Bale back. But anything that doesn't add up and doesn't match, you could just write it off and say, well, yeah, that's because, it's Legends of the Dark Knight. They don't have everything right. These are legends, not everything's going to add up. Like, I thought that would be a really interesting way to integrate those movies and make a fourth one and yet write off all the inconsistencies at the same time. That was my idea. I don't know. Like, again, they don't ask me what I think. Steven says, other day I watched your interview with the creator of Alf. Thank you. I appreciate your listening. Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, I was excited. I was really excited to talk to him. He was one of my, when we started the podcast, he was one of my first dream guests. And we had a really hard time finding him. It took years to track him down. Joey Baseball Alf says, I think the problem with Alf is the ownership angle. If Paul doesn't want to give up the ownership... Well, that's the thing. Paul's the one trying to get it going. Maybe the issue is that these distribution platforms want to buy the character outright. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe they want to own the character. And Paul doesn't want to... I don't know. I should try to get Paul back and find out what's going on. My friend Grant Pachoco just did a great interview with Paul Fusco recently on his podcast, Under the Puppet. It's a puppetry podcast. Check it out. It's a great podcast if you're interested in puppetry. He gets some great puppeteers on there, but he just did one with Paul Fusco, so check that out. Stephen F. says, that's one of my dad's favorite TV shows I watched with him when I was little. Are we talking... I lost track, Stephen. Are we still talking about Alf? Jeff Hill says, do you think they should make a spin-off from Star Trek, The Best of Both Worlds? Jeff, I don't know. There's a lot, obviously. Like, what would that spin-off be? You mean like a spin-off about, like, Commander Shelby or something? Like, bring her back as a captain? That could work. Look, if they put Star Trek on it, if they put the name Star Trek on it, I'm at least going to pay attention and check it out. I can't guarantee I'm going to like it, but they're at least going to get my attention. Star Trek is my favorite thing. So if they want to do a series that's a spinoff of the Best of Both Worlds, I will check that out. Definitely will. Now, the new spinoff they're talking about is a spinoff about Empress Giorgio from Discovery. It sounds like it's going to be possibly a Section 31 series, which I'm on board. I'm on board. Just keep the writing good, and you got my attention. What are my thoughts on the helicopter crash? Oh, Gavin, I don't know. I don't know what my thoughts are. It was tragic, obviously. I can tell you that John Landis is, he's pretty broken up about it. Like, if you bring that up in his presence, he practically cries. I have an autographed poster by John Landis over here. I'd look for it, but it kind of takes me off camera. Hang on a second. Let me see, can I find this? And of course I'm going to knock stuff over. But yeah, I met him, and someone did, the day I met him, he was doing a Q&A, and someone asked about it, and he was pretty broken up. He obviously doesn't like talking about it. Yeah, he signed this American Werewolf poster for me. And where is he? He signed it right here. He signed it right there. I don't know if you can see. And David Naughton signed it over here. So, but yeah, he's a really nice guy. That's a tragic thing. You know, nobody wants to have something like that happen on their watch. He was pretty broken up about it, which anyone would be, I would think. It's tragic. I said the Alf reboot would be where the Muppet sitcom failed. Should be where the... Have Alf as a... yeah, you know what, Joey? I think you said that before, and I like that idea. Alf as a washed-up 80s star trying to make a comeback. I think that would be funny. I'd check that out. Again, like Star Trek. You put Alf in something, I'm going to at least check it out. I would have loved a movie where Batman's character came together with Adam West, Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck. I would have watched that. You know, back in the 80s, when Michael Keaton was playing Batman, Adam West wanted to join the series as Uncle Batman. He wanted to be Batman's uncle who used to be Batman and passed the title on to Michael Keaton. At the time, it's a terrible idea. But at the time, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade had just come out with Sean Connery as Harrison Ford's father. So it was Adam West's idea that they could do the same thing with Indiana Jones and Sean Connery, but with Michael Keaton and him, and he called himself Uncle Batman. He pitched that on several talk shows back in the late 80s. He really wanted that to happen. Ryan, I have met LeVar Burton, and I'm very sad to say my experiences with LeVar Burton have not been positive. I know a lot of people love the guy. I love the guy. You know, Geordi was my favorite Next Generation character. Geordi was absolutely my favorite Next Generation character. But I found him a little rude, quite frankly. I asked him if he would do a bumper for my podcast at the time. Now, mind you, I don't mind someone turning me down. You want to turn me down? I get it. If you don't know who I am, if you're not familiar with my show, you know, there's any number of reasons why they would turn me down. They don't owe me anything. So I don't get offended by somebody saying no. That's okay. I didn't like the way he said no. He said to me, I don't do podcasts. And it just seemed a little rude to me the way he said that. I don't do podcasts. I felt like, wow, you're putting down the thing I do. You're like saying it with like disgust in your voice. And what made it worse is about a month later, I heard him on someone else's podcast. So I'm like, oh, you do podcasts. You just didn't want to do my podcast. Someone said to me he might have just been having a really bad day. So I went up to him at another convention, and he was, again, very short. I didn't ask him anything about the podcast this time. Didn't ask a word about the podcast. But again, he was kind of just short and like he'd rather be anywhere else but talking to me. So I always hear great things about LeVar Burton. People like say he's the nicest guy, but I mean he's been struck me as just a twinge rude the couple times I met him. But you know, who knows? Maybe I met him at just the wrong times. Maybe he was having a bad day. Mike Crawford says the Alf Complete series is at Walmart for about $35. I've seen that. I already own it though, but I have seen that. That is correct. It's not a bad price. Only problem with the Alf Complete series is the DVDs are the syndication cuts, which means they were cut for time. For some reason, Lionsgate couldn't find the original negatives from the NBC broadcasts, which are just a little bit longer, which is disappointing. But it's all you can get. And what my slaw says, I wanted to see the Spider-Man movie. I thought it was going to be about Miles. Then I saw it was about a whole bunch of Spider-Man. I got turned off. I'm actually really excited about that movie because Spider-Ham is in it. And I have been a fan of Spider-Ham since the 80s. In fact, for years I said, you know, obviously Sony has the film rights to Spider-Man. But I always said, I don't know if Sony has the film rights to Spider-Ham. I've been saying this for like a decade now. I've been like, you know, if Sony doesn't have the film rights to Spider-Ham, I would love to see Pixar make a Spider-Ham movie. And now we find out Sony does have the rights to Spider-Ham, and he's showing up in this movie, and I am just giddy with excitement. because now it also means we're getting Spider-Ham merchandise. I got a Spider-Ham, little stuffed Spider-Ham from Build-A-Bear, and I got a Spider-Ham Funko Pop. So I'm really excited. That got me, that makes me giddy with excitement. I already got my tickets for Into the Spider-Verse. And I hear it's getting good reviews. It was like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes the other day. Marty McFly says, I feel like Star Trek has had less duds than Star Wars films, TV shows, but both franchises are awesome. You know, I don't know, Marty. I kind of feel like Star Wars might have the better track record, but that's only because there's less of it out there. Like, Star Trek's got, like, you know, over 500 episodes, and some of them, like the one where, the Voyager episode where Janeway and Tom Paris turn into catfish, that's really bad. And then there's the episode of Next Generation where the Ferengi take over the ship and Picard gets turned into a child. That's, again, pretty bad. So it's like, as a general rule, like Star Trek The Next Generation, great series, but there's some really bad episodes of Next Generation. Entertainment Fanatic asks if I've ever seen Samurai Jack. Have. Great show. Great show. That was supposed to be making a comeback. I don't know what happened. And Marty McFly says, do I play Smash Brothers? I don't play many video games, honestly. I do have a PlayStation 4, and occasionally my daughter and I will play Injustice, the Justice League game. But that's really about it. Gavin asked what Star Trek autographs I have. I do have a lot of them. I mean, you could see William Shatner right there, and Patrick Stewart and Avery Brooks right there. But I have most of the... I think I have the full Next Generation cast. Yeah, full Next Generation cast. Everyone from the original series except Nimoy and DeForest Kelley. They're the only two I didn't get. I have a bunch from Deep Space Nine. Not everybody, but I got a bunch from Deep Space Nine. I don't have many from Voyager. I don't have many from Voyager. Voyager's my least favorite Star Trek. So, I don't have many of those. Do I have any? I might not have any. Oh, I do. Here's something interesting. Star Trek Voyager, I have Robbie McNeil, who played Tom Paris. I have his autograph, but it's not on something Star Trek related. I have his autograph, but it's on a Masters of the Universe poster. He was in the 1987 Masters of the Universe movie with Dolph Lundgren. And I have the Drew Struzan poster for Masters of the Universe hanging upstairs in our hallway on the 3rd floor. And Robbie McNeil signed that. So I have Robbie McNeil from Voyager's autograph, but not on something Star Trek related. And we just got cool news. One of the local conventions around here, Monster Mania, Dolph Lundgren's coming. In March, they got Dolph Lundgren, so he will be signing that poster too. John Landis is a legend. Yes, he is, Jesse. Yes, he is. Let's see. Marty asked what my daughter's favorite movie is. Well, it's a good question. That's a good question. Jackie, the 11-year-old, what is her favorite movie? I don't know. She really likes The Iron Giant. She really likes The Avengers. She's never really said. I don't know if she has a favorite movie. The 3-year-old just saw her first movie. She just saw The Grinch for the first time, which she enjoyed. Apparently, I'm way behind on questions. I am way behind. Did I meet Bob Ross? No, I did not. Oh, Jeff Hill says the spinoff he was talking about was Assignment Earth. The one with Gary Seven, right? Gary Seven and Terry Garr. Yeah, I'd watch. If they did a spinoff, I would watch it. That was a backdoor pilot. That was supposed to be a spinoff, and it didn't happen. How long have we been going? We've been going for 45 minutes already. I hate to skip over questions, but I am so far behind. Let's see. Marty asked, do I like MST3K? I think it's all right. I enjoy it. But I don't think it's as funny as a lot of other people do. I know people think it's absolutely hilarious. I think it's okay. I Want My Slaw says that's Spider Pig from the Simpsons movie. I assume you're talking about Spider Ham in the Into the Spider-Verse. Spider Pig, that was pretty funny. Yeah, it's not a big deal with LeVar Burton. My idol growing up was Bill Cosby. I'm sorry, Joey. Bill Cosby, that's heartbreaking. We all loved Bill. Pops need to die a horrible death. They're the creepiest, ugliest, scary-looking things. Oh, man, I like them. I like them. I got Lando right here. Here's Lando. You truly belong with us among the stars. Can't wait to see Peter Porker. I'm with you, Geriatric Geek. I love Peter Porker. And he looks like he's gonna be so funny in that movie. What am I missing? I'm missing something about. Did I hear about Kirk Cameron and his sister's accident? Candace Cameron was in an accident? I just did not know about this. Is she okay? I don't know about that. Stephen F. asks, when's Suicide Squad 2 coming out? I don't know. But I'm really excited about it because James Gunn's doing it. I'm really excited about that one. Would I watch an underwater parody film of Suicide Squad called Suicide Squid? Yes. Yes. Jesse asks, favorite guilty pleasure movie? I don't know. I don't know what. How do I answer that? Are we going with guilty pleasure? Maybe I'll go with the Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe because it's really, when you come right down to it, not a very good movie. But I do have some serious love and some serious nostalgia for it. That might be my answer. I might go with Masters of the Universe. Come on, only 8 more likes. We need more people. We need more subs. I'd like to hit 1,000 subs by March. That would be my goal. I don't think I'm going to do it though. I don't think I'm going to hit 1,000 subs. I don't know. I guess sitting watching me talk about movies has limited appeal. Maybe I got to do something more crazy. But you know what? You know what I was thinking of doing? I, as a joke, sang on the podcast and you can't find it anymore. It's not available on the podcast feed anymore, so you can't even find the podcast anymore. Last year, I was doing the Dog Days of Podcasting, different podcast every day for the month of August, and it coincided with the eclipse. And I thought it would be funny for the eclipse to do a cover of Total Eclipse of the Heart. I sang Total Eclipse of the Heart and put it out as a podcast. And that podcast isn't available anymore. And I was thinking it might be funny if I promised to release on this YouTube channel a music video for my rendition of Total Eclipse of the Heart when I hit 1,000 subs. Of course, my rendition of Total Eclipse of the Heart is so terrible that may guarantee that I never hit 1,000 subs because people will never want to see that. They might be like, no, keep that buried. Please, keep that. We'll unsub to make sure that never happens. Will Alf get a Blu-ray release? I doubt it. If they put one out, I will buy it, but I doubt it. Marty McFly asked, do I think John Lasseter will ever direct another movie? I'm going to go with no. You never know, though. You never know. John Hickey, thank you. Thank you very much. I have a collection. I have quite a few Christmas sweaters. But, yeah, Kirk Hammer ran over his sister with a go-kart, and she's in critical condition. Really? That, for real? Wow. That's messed up. I'm assuming it was an accident, right? Whew. Release it when I hit 500 subs. 500 subs is more doable. We're only 15 away, Mike. Does anyone actually want to see a music video of me singing Total Eclipse of the Heart? Oh, man, it's pretty terrible. It's pretty terrible. It's on this phone right here. I can give you a tease. I can give you just a little tease. But I can't because the source that has the file is actually what's recording this. So I can't do it. Oh, Cinema Sickness is here. Hello. Hey, what do you think? What do you think, CS? Would you like to see me release a music video of myself singing Total Eclipse of the Heart when I hit 1,000 subs? Would that encourage people to sub, or would that encourage people to unsub quickly to make sure that that never sees the light of day? What do you think? What do you think? John would watch my music video. But would you make it all the way through? That's the question. In a thong. Maybe. Maybe in a thong. Who knows? Oh, boy. So anyway, what did everyone think about the Avengers trailer? We got an Avengers trailer. Gotta tell you, I'm excited. I'm excited about the Avengers. I liked all the Avengers movies so far, and I'm really thrilled. But it's still only my second most anticipated movie this April because I'm more excited for the Shazam movie. Like, this is like the 5th Avengers movie. So it's good, but it's like the 5th Avengers movie. I've never seen a Shazam movie before, and I've been waiting for a Shazam movie since I was a kid. I've always wanted a Shazam movie. So I'm a little more excited about the Shazam movie. What does everyone think? Everyone like the Avengers trailer? I heard some guys I work with complaining about it, saying they didn't think it was very good. I thought it was great because it didn't show you too much. I don't want to see too much. Marty McFly says, I want an Alf and Austin Powers crossover where they team up to take down a bad guy. I would watch that. Yes, I would. I would watch that. Hey, here's something interesting. The family from Alf was the Tanner family. But the family on Full House was also called the Tanner family. So Full House is back now. They got that spin-off called Fuller House. I thought they should have had Willie Tanner from Alf show up as a guest star and reveal that he's like their long-lost uncle, and then Alf could guest star on Fuller House. See, I'm always thinking. I'm always thinking. I still need to see the first 3 Avengers movies. Check it out. And Civil War. So it's Captain America Civil War, which I believe is the real Avengers 3. That was an Avengers movie. That was not a Captain America movie. It really goes Avengers, Age of Ultron, Captain America Civil War, then Avengers Infinity War. Because Civil War is an Avengers movie. I don't care that they put the name Captain America on there. It's not a Captain America movie. It's an Avengers movie. I agree, CS. They could really screw it up in the last movie. I mean, it's... Yeah. I know what I would like to see happen in the 4th one, but I don't think it's going to. And I don't want to say what it is, because I'm afraid if anyone didn't see it, it would give spoilers of the last one. The pilot of the 70s Shazam series came with the complete ISIS series. Isis, the character of Isis, is now currently a character on Legends of Tomorrow, but they can't call her Isis anymore because of the terror group ISIS. So they just call her, I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but they call her by her real name. By the way, I missed part 2 of the crossover, the CW crossover tonight, to be here. So that's how much I love you guys. I missed part 2 of the crossover, and I watched part 1. It was really good. I can't wait to see part 2 of the Elseworlds crossover. If anyone else is watching the CW shows, those crossovers are usually really well done. I'm not really a big fan of Supergirl or Arrow right now. Supergirl and Arrow have both really declined in quality. Flash is still great, but I still tune in for the crossovers. Ryan, I would love to make a MegaPodTastic movie. It would be Megapod shiny. We'd wrap it in Megapod plastic. You'd have to wear your Megapod jammies. John Hickey says, what other YouTuber would you like to work with? Well, I don't know. I've already worked with the 2 guys who got me into YouTube. Cinema Sickness and Adam the Woo. Those are the two guys who got me started doing this, and I now have worked with both of them, done YouTube videos with both of them, and I consider both of them friends. So really, that is just amazing. And after that, who else is there? You know, I like working with my friends. That's what I really like. I'm always open to making new friends. Always open to making new friends, but collaborating with your friends is just so much fun. Anytime I get to work with CS or Rick is awesome. Anytime I'm probably going to see this coming August, I'll be at Dragon Con and I'll see Adam the Woo and I'll see Splore and Ryan and I'll see Adventures by George. And that is, CS says we're friends. Apparently not. I didn't take you to see Bumblebee. Were you really upset about that? I heard you were upset about that. I didn't know you wanted to go. I had no idea. Get Snickers sponsor my Adam the Woo video. I Want Slaw says no. They did not sponsor that. That's just me being goofy. I don't even know if Adam knows that's up there yet. I should send him a message, be like, by the way, you were in my last video. I don't know if you know that. Because he shot that months ago. I didn't even know what I was going to do with it. When he shot that, I was like, I'll use that months from now. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Am I coming to the con with you? CS, you are more than welcome to come down to Dragon Con. Love to have you. However, you're not allowed in our room. You got to get your own room. So... what else do we got here? Brightburn. I heard about Brightburn. I haven't seen it yet. I want to check it out. Marty McFly says, I find it odd that out of all the names they could have come up with to replace Captain Marvel, they chose Shazam. I agree. Here's something interesting. A lot of people don't know this. Shazam, a.k.a. Captain Marvel, his original name wasn't Shazam or Captain Marvel. In his very, very, very first appearance, he was called Captain Thunder. He became Captain Marvel in his second appearance. So for most of his run, he was Captain Marvel. But one time, his original appearance, he was Captain Thunder. So I always thought, when they hit the copyright issues with the name Captain Marvel, I always thought DC... should have changed his name back to Captain Thunder. That's what I would have done. Because if his name's Shazam, he can't introduce himself to people. Like, let's say he just saves a whole bunch of people, and Lois Lane stops him and says, excuse me, Lois Lane, Daily Planet, just saw you save all these people. You mind if we ask you a few questions? First of all, what's your name? Can't tell you. I can't tell you what my name is, because if I do, a lightning bolt's going to hit me and turn me back into like a 15-year-old. So I can't say what my name is. I'm sorry. Would you like me to write it down? I can write it down for you. But I can't say my name. It's kind of silly. Because anytime he says his name, he's going to turn back into a kid. So how would anyone know his name's Shazam? He can't introduce himself to anyone. Anyway. We need a movie about the CS crew hunting for mega rare media release. I'm in. Let's do it. What do you say? What do you say, CS? We shooting that movie? I'll write it. Dave, how was the BK? Man, now I want BK now. John Hickey, yes, for my favorite Christmas movie. Easy. Gremlins, favorite Christmas movie, without question. In fact, somewhere in this pile, if we were looking at my autograph posters, somewhere in this autograph pile, I do have a Gremlins poster. Is it over here? Do I have it? Is it over here? Or is it still, there's more over there. Of course, that's one of the ones that's not right here. Easily accessible. Hey, I don't see it. What the heck? What the heck? Where'd my Gremlins poster go? Well, that's troubling. Oh, here's more. Here's more. I got too many of these mini posters. Too many. And the Gremlins one is still not here. I gotta track that down. I have a Gremlins poster, and it's autographed by Zach Galligan, Dick Miller, and Judge Reinhold. Ooh, now I got that song stuck in my head. Jesse, they're working on another He-Man movie. They're working on it. I don't know what's going on. Do I have any Back to the Future autographs? I have Mayor Goldie Wilson's autograph. I actually was his chauffeur when he was at RetroCon a couple years ago. I drove him to and from the airport. So I got Christopher Lloyd, Goldie Wilson, and I got a story for you guys, man. I almost forgot. I got a story for you guys. Goldie Wilson and Claudia Wells, Jennifer Parker. All right, I got a story for you guys, man. Thomas F. Wilson, Biff Tannen from Back to the Future. He's currently on the cast of Legends of Tomorrow. He just joined the cast of Legends this season. And I'm watching it with my wife the other day. There's a convention in this area, in the New York area, called Chiller Theater. And back around 2002, Tom Wilson was a guest at Chiller Theater. So anyway, I'm sitting there talking to my wife, and I said, you know, this is the strangest thing, but Tom Wilson was at Chiller Theater Convention back around 2002. And I have this memory in my head. I have this memory, but I don't know if it's real. I don't know if I'm misremembering. I don't know where this came from. But I have this memory in my head that I can't verify. But I think Tom Wilson, Thomas F. Wilson from Back to the Future, I think he has a prosthetic leg. And I Googled it. I Googled Tom Wilson prosthetic leg. Because, you know, he's always wearing long pants on Legends. And, you know, you can't see if he has a prosthetic leg or not. So my wife's like, well, that's weird. Why do you think he has a prosthetic leg? And I said, I don't know. I don't know why I think he has a prosthetic leg. I think it goes back to a Chiller convention. I don't know if I actually saw him and he had a prosthetic leg, or, you know, I don't know where it comes from. But I just have this, like, really strange memory about Tom Wilson having a prosthetic leg. But I've never seen the prosthetic leg in a movie. I've never heard him mention it in an interview. I got no proof that Tom Wilson has a prosthetic leg, so I don't know why I think Tom Wilson has a prosthetic leg. It was driving me crazy. I'm Googling it. Tom Wilson prosthetic leg. Nothing. So it's driving me crazy. The other day we go see the Bumblebee movie. I'm out with Dave. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Mandela effect. Have you ever heard of the Mandela effect? They did an episode of The X-Files on it. The Mandela effect is a phenomenon where you remember something that didn't actually happen. The name the Mandela effect comes from the fact that a lot of people remember hearing or reading about Nelson Mandela dying in prison. A lot of people think Nelson Mandela died in prison. He did not die in prison. He didn't. But people remember this. So I started thinking, like, is this the Mandela effect where I'm having a memory that never happened? Why do I think Tom Wilson had a prosthetic leg? So we go to the charcoal pit after the Bumblebee. I'm sitting there with Dave Perillo. And I tell him, I'm like, Dave, you ever heard of the Mandela effect? He never heard of it. I tell him what it is. I'm like, yeah, it's when you have like a memory and you think, oh, I remember this, but the thing you remember never actually happened. And I start telling him about Nelson Mandela. People thought he died in prison. He didn't die in prison. That's the Mandela effect. I said, I'm having this thing that's like the Mandela effect. I seem to remember learning around 2002, and I know it has something to do with a Chiller Theater convention, but I seem to remember hearing or finding out that Tom Wilson had a prosthetic leg. Dave Perillo starts losing his shit. he starts cracking up. He's losing it, man. He's absolutely losing it. And I'm like, hey, no, stop laughing. I know it's crazy. I know it's weird. And he's like, no, 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 no. I know why you think that. I'm like, you know why I think that? He goes, I know. And I go, why? And he goes, oh, God, I hate to tell you. It's too good. I don't want to ruin it. I'm like, what? 2002. Tom Wilson was at the Chiller Theater Convention, and I wanted to go see him, get an autograph because I love Back to the Future. I couldn't go. Dave went. Dave went, and he comes back, and he decided in 2002 to mess with me. And he told me he ran into Tom Wilson in the bathroom, and he was adjusting his prosthetic leg. I'm like, you told me Tom Wilson had a prosthetic leg? He goes, yeah, it was bullshit. I didn't think you'd believe it. Like, well, for 16 years now, I've thought Tom Wilson had a prosthetic leg. He goes, I know. Every now and then, my friend, we had this other friend, Brendan. He goes, every now and then, because Brendan was at the convention with him. He goes, every now and then when you're not around, Brendan and I are still like, I think Joe still thinks Tom Wilson has a prosthetic leg. 16 years I thought the guy had a prosthetic leg, and it's because Dave Perillo was screwing with me. So, there you go. I don't know if you guys find that story as amusing as I do. But there it is. So, with that, we have been going for over an hour now. And I think I need to wrap it up because, you know, when I talk this long, my throat starts to, oh, yeah. CS, you still in the room? You still here? Are you still here, man? All right, I am going to... Joey Baseball says the Mandela effect is when things get changed over time. It's not a fake memory. Someone went back in time and changed events. Depending on how out there you want to get, Joey, I have heard the theory, because people have tried to explain where this Mandela effect comes from. And some of the explanations are really out there, which it depends how much of a sci-fi explanation you're willing to accept. But one of the explanations I have heard is, or the thoughts is that it's alternate timelines, memories from alternate timelines that are bleeding into this timeline. So, depending on how sci-fi you're willing to get, that is an explanation I've heard thrown out there. So I am going to wrap this up, guys. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. It's always great to know that there's this many people who actually want to hear me spout on for an hour about complete and total nonsense. Because who am I? What do I know? I'm just a guy who thought for 16 years that Tom Wilson had a prosthetic leg. So apparently I'm not the best source for information. Because if you asked me about a week ago, I would have told you Tom Wilson had a prosthetic leg, and I would have been very, very, very wrong. I don't know if any of you follow me on Twitter, but a tweet actually went out for me on the MegaPodTastic Twitter page the other day. And the tweet just says, this information just given to me, Tom Wilson does not have a prosthetic leg. So I'm sure a lot of the people who follow me on Twitter were very confused by that. But there you go. So I'm going to say goodnight. I'm seeing Aquaman this weekend. Stay tuned. I'll have an Aquaman video up very, very soon because I'm seeing it Saturday. And please take my advice. Check out Bumblebee. Check out Bumblebee. It is so good. It is so good. Coming from a guy who hated the previous movies. Like, I'm not just like some shill who'll just accept anything they put out there. I hated the previous ones, and I love this one so, so much. And it's tracking really bad at the box office. They're not expecting it to do that well. And I really would like to see more of this. Well, Travis Knight, I want him to get a sequel. I want Travis Knight to make more Transformers movies. So please, 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 please. And it's not just me. The reviews are out. It's getting overwhelmingly positive reviews. Please don't let the previous movies be your guide. Check this out. Forget the previous ones exist. Steven, real quick. You're asking about Bad Boys 3. Honestly, I've never seen the first two. All right. Keep wearing those pajamas.